Okay, again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you again, all my Dharma friends. Thank you very much for participating. And again, we are doing Dzogchen retreat, about 1 week or more. And it's wonderful we all get together and had the opportunity to discussing the teaching of the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni or Guru Pema Sambhava, lineage masters, according to our capabilities. And in a way, refreshing, reactivating our knowledge and the memories, the teaching that we received from so many great masters, one after another. So today, we really, in a way, reactivating that according to my capabilities to, in a way, reminding to you, all of us. It's not something that I have offered to you as something new, completely brand new, or something come up. It's all teachings of the great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, lineage masters, and I trying to follow that footstep according to my capabilities, of utmost capabilities, and share that to each other in a way to remind it to each other. So that's what is all what we're doing. And particularly this time, we're discussing of the Dzogchen teachings, which is so important, so powerful, so precious, so great practices. Yet is down to the earth, humble, simple, more contentment, filled the heart with the bodhicitta, related to bodhicitta. When we have heart filled with related to the bodhicitta, then the absolute bodhicitta of Dzogchen shines in the heart. It comes up really perfectly. So that's it, what we're really trying to do that. And again, and for that reasons, again, every great masters, all great practitioners, the Buddha said, everyone said, first is so important to participate in the teaching and to participate in that and that. But second, the most important is correcting the motivation. Correcting the motivation. What gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni said, everything is the conditions. That condition is our mind. Everything is depend to growth need conditions. That also indicating we have the perfect cause. We, all of us, have the perfect cause. Many times lacking the conditions. And this time we like to explore our goodness, our abundance of the Buddha nature, or the Dzogchen teaching. Dzogchen. Not just a Dzogchen teaching, Dzogchen. Dzogchen is not coming from outside. What is the Tibetan word? Dzogchen. Many times translated in English, great completions or great perfect. But that great perfect, that great completion is not outside we're looking. It's within the heart, within the mind. That is one voice said from the Mahayana Sutra all the way to the Dzogchen teaching. It's within us. That is what we're going to explore. But to explore, we need conditions. That condition is also not coming from outside. Everything is equipped with us. The old tools to discover Him is everything with us. That condition. What gracious teacher said? Everything is caused with conditions. That condition is motivation. Motivation. What is motivation? Motivation is nothing but our own mind. Our mind, your mind and my mind. Who controls the mind? No one else controls our mind except ours. 100% one. Each of us control our own mind. So where we like to lead, our destination, according to Buddhism or Buddhas and all the great masters, is to the motivation. And we like to, for example, always talk of the goodness. And we want really goodness, motivation, good motivation. everyone don't care of the goodness, then be casual. Be kind of like carry away with our old habitual mundane habitual patterns. Let carry us. Then what the destination will be? According to Buddhism, destination will be continually going in the samsara. From samsara to the samsara. Instead of going from nirvana or the bhumi to the bhumi, or the path to the path, or realization to the realization, we are heading to the samsara. From samsara to the samsaras. To change that directions is no one's in hand except ourselves, according to Buddha teaching. That is motivation. So therefore, correcting the motivation is so important. This time, what kind of correct? What kind of motivation actually exists? Generally, in the great teacher, Buddha's teaching, there is so many motivation. Motivation means mind, so many. But we can summarize that into three. Good motivation, bad motivation, neutral motivations. Or positive, negative, neutral. And this time, teaching said, correct the motivation to the good. Good motivation. That again is summarized by the lineage masters that you all know. Which known as vastness skillful means motivation. Vastness skillful means motivation. Vastness, no, I'm sorry, I made little mistakes. Vastness motivation, skillful means motivation. So this two mind, two motivation. Vastness motivation of the Mahayana Sutras. Skillful means motivation of the Vajrayana teachings. These two motivations. We have the abundance of both teachings. Sutra teachings and Vajrayana teachings. Because kindness, courage, and commitment of the ancient those great masters, particularly known as Guru Pema Sambhava, and great master Chandarakshita, and great Dharma King Tsung Depsi, with all those great translators and Indian masters, made such a big effort to bring the entire teaching of the Buddha into Tibet. So therefore, all the Tibetan Buddhisms are enjoying the abundance, the richness of the Buddha's teaching without missing any Buddha's teaching that exists in this world that will have to be, or we can get enlightenment within these lifetimes. And therefore, we have two motivations. Vastness motivation of the Sutrayana teachings, and skillful means motivation of the Vajrayana teachings. What these two motivations generally? Again, it is nothing that you all know. Except, actually, you all know. Vastness motivation is bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, wishing bodhicitta. Related to bodhicitta. Related to bodhicitta. Wishing. Vastness. Why is it called vastness? Because bodhicitta has no boundaries. That we know, right? We all know. We heard that, and we're practicing that. Has no boundaries, no restrictions. And to all the beings, how many beings are there? According to Buddha's teaching, that as far as space goes, that far there is living beings. As long as there is living beings, that much. Everyone has karma, everyone has emotions. Everyone is struggling, that means. Karma and emotions is pervasive to all the beings. Therefore, our bodhicitta is to all the beings, wishing good things. Particularly this time, today I'm going to, and as well as for 1 week or 10 days, I'm going to practice of Dzogchen. Dzogchen, may that become the cause to bring everyone as joy, peace, happiness now. But deep down, may completely eliminate the cause of trouble, difficulty, and challenges, really which sincerely from the heart. Our intention, motivation, swinging with the aspiration, supreme aspiration of the great bodhisattvas or the Buddhas, join together, let that spirit kind of ripple all the northern light and just spread out, all this morning sunlight to everyone, reach from the heart. Really wish. And then apply all the bodhisattvas teaching we received. That is known as vastness motivation of the bodhisattva according Mahayana sutras. Skilpa means motivation of the Vajrayana teaching based upon that motivation. The Sutra Mahayana motivation with the compassion, with the bodhisattva, and now what skilpa means. Vajrayana teaching is Mahayana teaching, but it has more skillful means, as we all know. We all heard that. And what are those skillful means? This has so many skillful ways, so many techniques to discover our Buddha nature, and so many skills ways to purify our obscurations. Because of those skillful means, technique is not too difficult, too hardships. A little bit more easy approach. And we keep our mindfulness, and joyful effort, and concentration. Then it is quite easy, not not difficulty. So those are why? Because a lot of skillful means. So this time, the bodhisattva, our vastness motivation of the bodhisattva is combined with the motivation, skillful means motivations. That is then simple to explain is three Vajra states. All the forms are Vajra forms. What that means, Vajra? Enlightenment. All the forms are enlightenment. All the sounds are enlightenment. And all the mind and space are enlightened. Why use the Vajra? According to teaching, Vajra means indestructibles. Indestructibles. This enlightenment, what we are activating of these three forms, sound and space, mind and enlightenment, is never going to change. It's reality. It's ultimate origin and nature. But we don't see now. Why? Because of our duality. That very we want to purify. That hindrance we want to purify. That's a simple way. Then larger kind of a little more extensive ways. Skillful means motivation. What is perfect status? Perfect pure land, or perfect land, perfect teacher, perfect retinues, audience, and perfect teaching, and perfect time. Those are the 5 perfects. You activated those qualities. This is now, again, not just making up these things or trying to pretending this. It's reality. We are recapturing our dominion, our inheritance, our share, our opportunities, according to Buddha's teaching. We lost that, our origin dominion, because carried by the force of the dualities, habit patterns. We went always looking outside, looking out, and further we went. That ripple is carried. That tide of the duality habitually carried from our souls. Completely is kind of carried. But today, by the teaching of the great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni and Guru Masambhava, we are returning back to our original dominion, our original place, where we belong, where we are. Actually, we never lost it. Only we had the nightmare carried far. How far? That is what we're really doing. And therefore, then activating those bodhicitta and those motivations is so important according to teaching. Really so important. And teaching all the great masters, everyone said. So important. That will change. That will change from deep, not from surface, outside somewhere. Change from the very fundamental. So therefore, with all those beautiful motivations, with that beautiful motivations, then now we follow with the teaching. And the teaching is again Dzogchen teaching, and is taught by the great master. The magician who came in human form is great master Mipham Rinpoche. And of course, many of you already know, or read, so I won't repeat that. If you like, the Mipham Rinpoche is one of the great masters, great scholars, great logicians, great poets, great alchemists. Is really in the Tibet history, in the Buddhist all the time, and great thinker. But yet he's so humble, simple, down to the earth. He is just like as regular monks, practitioners, moving from hermit to hermit. That means from mountain to mountain, cave to caves. Even he become, and he born as like ordinary person. Nothing kind of fancy and highlighted all this and that things. In Tibet, there's so many of those beings that's who are highlighted. Truly they are very highlighted that. But Mipham Rinpoche is one of the, again, great masters who born as simple families in the 18th century, I think around the 18th century, or maybe in the 19th century, 19th centuries, and grew up as a simple person, and simple monks started, just exactly regular monks. And he stayed like that all the time. It's not something that. And then of course, he's called it a realization, understanding, knowledge. It's like genius. He is a genius to know all the Buddha teachings. They never had to start it like that. As soon as he received teaching in the transmissions of those teachings, he knew already. And not just only that, all the knowledges. He practiced, meditated all the time. He's a great practitioner. And this gives so many different teachings, so many variety teachings that covers all the major sciences. In Tibet we call 5 sciences. Those really, he give all those teachings. Particularly he gave teachings of all that covers in the Buddha's teachings. From the first foundation teaching of Buddha, teaching, or the first teachings, and all the way to Dzogchen teachings. And there is many kind of essence teachings of the different teachings, and this is one of his very direct, pointed, and very condensed teaching of the Dzogchen teachings. So now we go here, and we go here, and that now. So now here we. And page 10, I'm sure you know that, is the title, The Essential Point of the Effortless Profound Meditations. So that's what the translated. I think we translated. The Sabdung Tsormi Gompa Namjan Ne. That's the Tibetan word, but this has what it is. So this is now what? Dzogchen teachings. Again, of course, many of you already, you all know Dzogchen, but again, we all here together, and I'm going to talk a little bit Dzogchen, my understanding, so I will talk again to you, Dzogchen, generally. Where Dzogchen come from? Who taught these Dzogchen teachings? Generally, according to Buddhism, Dzogchen teaching is taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni. And when he taught, and where he taught this? Buddha gave that teachings generally when he was in India. And that means when? 2000, about 600 years ago, the Buddha gave the Dzogchen teachings. Where he gave these teachings? He gave these teachings in known as Pure Land Upanishads. Pure Land Upanishads. Also, Buddha gave this Dzogchen teaching. He did not give Dzogchen teaching and his regular form that we see on the statues, one face, 2 arms, and 2 legs, and holding with the arms balls. It's not. In the teaching says, he gave this teaching in the form of a Buddha Sammadabhadras. Buddha Sammadabhadras. And to whom he gave teachings. And all the great lineage masters. Who are they? The lineage master of the mind-to-mind transmission lineages. Lineage master of the symbolic transmission lineages. And what that means, of course you all know. It means they are not just regular practitioners. They are highly enlightened practitioners, realized beings. They great Vidyadharas, and they are Buddhas, male and female Buddhas. How he give this teaching? According to the teaching, he give beyond the word and the symbol. Beyond the world, W-O-R-D, and the symbols he gave. And how that happened? He said, Buddha relaxed in the meditation, or Buddha, not, I'm sure, shouldn't use relax. Buddha is absolute state of the true nature of the Dharmakaya, and within that nature status, pervasive was the display. Merged from him and merged, or came from him and merged to all this audience. So what they received? They received everything what Buddha Sammadabhadra has. All that received. Same time, Buddha Sammadabhadra did not lost anything. So it's completely received that. So even sometimes in teaching said, the Buddha gave that teaching from the unborn nature status. Unborn nature status. So that's how he received that teachings. Generally, great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, when he came this world, from age 35 onward until age 81, he gave variety of teachings. All those teachings. The ultimate teaching is known as Dzogchen teachings. So he gave that teachings to the celestial realms, or Akanishata, or in Tibet is known as woman. And so he gave those teachings in there. In that pure land, continually carried and spread out all that teachings carried. How this teaching came to the human world, according again to Dzogchen teaching, and so now Buddha Sammadabhadra or Buddha Shakyamuni transferred those teachings to all the 5 Dhyana Buddhas and all those Buddhas, and then Vajrasattvas transmitted this to the Garab Dorjis. And Garab Dorji is the first human Dzogchen teacher who brought this teaching to this world. How Vajrasattva transferred? In the teaching said, he transferred teaching through the symbolic lineage techniques. Not necessarily word and speaking this, but through the sign and the symbols. He taught these teachings. And Garab Dorji received completely everything. At the same time, Garab Dorji reached enlightenment, become the Buddhas. From Garab Dorji, then continues carried. And that is how, according to teaching, and then they teach the oral transmission lineages. Continue. Oral transmission lineages. So that means Garab Dorji, one who hold the mind teachings of the mind-to-mind transmission lineage, symbolic transmission lineage, and oral transmission lineages, and then now he transferred his foremost students to the Manjushri Mataram on Jamgon received. Jamgon also reached enlightenment, and he shared these teachings to his foremost students, which is known as the Shiri-san. Now, oral transmission lineage. And Chiri Sangha had, and of course it didn't mean that you don't have the symbolic transmission lineage and mind to transmission lineage. That all has now sharing that. And Chiri Sangha shared this teaching to the then Bamal Matra, Gorapema Sambhava, and then Jnana Sutras. Those great Dzogchen masters. Those are, in a way, highlight the single lineages. But according to the teaching, they have also many other students too. But that's the Dzogchen teaching was being as single lineages until Shri Sangha. Shri Sangha shared this teaching to the three great masters, as I said, Gorapema Sambhava, Bamal Matra, and Jnana Sutras. Three masters. And so, Jnana Sutra also shared this teaching again to Bamal Matras. So, Bamal Matra become as the disciples of the Shri Sangha as well as Jnana Sutras. So, that. This great, so how this teaching, Dzogchen teaching came to Tibet is brought by the three great masters. Those are first Gorapema Sambhava, and the second is then Bamal Matra, and the third is great Tibetan translator Verhochana. They brought these teachings. So that is really how this teaching. And from that on, then it continued. In Nyingma, particularly in Nyingma school, there is two major lineages. Those are known as Kama lineages and Terma lineages. So those two major lineages continually preserve this teaching and carried until now, continually. Ongoing, non-stopped or unbroken lineages of these teachings. So that is really about how this teaching came and how that exists now. Now we go to this one. Okay, so that's the really overview of the Dzogchen, and of course we can talk that more those things in continuing in this. Now here, as I said, the title of this teaching, and generally always in the teaching said that this text, whole entire Mipham Rinpoche teaching can be divided into three kind of sections. Three sections. Those are like title and teaching and the colophons. Those are the common Tibetan kind of way they structures that way. So this again, if we do that way, that's it. Title, teaching, and colophons. Now, first we go to this title. According to Buddha teaching, title is really very important. Title tells the summary of the teaching of the big teaching, whatever that is. It really tells that. So therefore, this title captures the condensed meaning of the teaching, of this teaching. Many times in the teaching, those are very intelligent, smart, highly capable practitioners. The moment they read the title, that moment they understand pretty much meaning of the entire books or the teachings. That's it. So therefore, that's what I say. The teaching is so important in many ways. That. And now, if we go this way, the first one is here said, and in the Tibet it said Sabdung Zormi Gomba Namjar name. And here we say the essential point of the effortless profound meditations. So if we say the profound, and in Tibet is Sabdun, profound, profound meaning. If we have translated that, Sabdun. What is a sub actually? In the profound. What means profound? Profound is generally to anything is profound. Anything is profound. That's the terminology, profound. But this time is referring profound to the Dzogchen. Dzogchen is profound. What is Dzogchen? As I said earlier, Dzogchen is not outside. Dzogchen is within. And what that means within? Dzogchen is our own awareness. Our own awareness is Dzogchen. Dzogchen. Why is it called profound? Because do we see, or do I see, or do you see the depth of your mind, the edge of our mind, or about the mind? You see. We all have the mind. But really, do we see anything about this mind? Profound, depth of that, and the size of the mind? No, there is no answer. Therefore, it is profound. This profound nature is the awakening nature, is ordinary nature. It is what I said, Dzogchen. In Tibet, Dzogpa Chenpo. Dzogpa Chenpo. So this profound is Dzogpa Chenpo. What means Dzogpa Chenpo? This is how a great master, first Chense, great Chense, explained in his teachings. Dzog means, the profound means, the vastness space of the true nature of Dharmata, which has no boundary, no depth, no edge, no center. That vastness, call it. Within that vastness, call it. What is completed? Whatever, again, that Dzogchen, Dzog, every bring as the meaning of the completed. What is completed? That everything is completed within that vastness of the vastness profound, that nature, or Dharma Dhatu status. What means everything? All the phenomena, form, sound, space, taste, touch, taste. All many times in the teaching said, all the samsara phenomena, all the nirvana phenomena, path to the nirvana, or the between nirvana and samsara, what in Buddhism called pith phenomena. P-A-T-H, pith phenomena. So that means all the phenomena, three phenomena, are completed within the Dzogchen. Within the Dzog. Dzog means everything is completed. How completed? It's not something big, gigantic, bag, B-A-G, bag, and put all those things inside. No, not like that. Not like that. The everything, those three phenomena, samsara phenomena, nirvana phenomena, path phenomena, all that phenomena never separated from that profound nature. Never separated. That means what? They're identical. Identical. Nothing, there's no any phenomenon. It's not pervaded by this vastness. It's same nature. For that reason, great teacher Buddha said, as we take often that quotations from Heart Sutra, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is form. That union is not negations. It's not just one side. It's not extreme. It's totally blended in, perfectly, beautifully. Because of that harmonized nature, then everything can be arising so beautiful. Magical display. That's what the great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni in Buddha teaching, the interdependent coordination, the interdependent arising, that interconnected arising. All connections. Sometimes I also hear say the connections. It's true. Conditions. All that things arises. Where the things arising is also magical. There's no substantial, social, structural existing, solid existing. Moment it appears, that moment is empty. Empty is appearing, that's what. So these are all these phenomena existing, three phenomena in the teaching said, are completed within this great profound status. So then, what the great master first changes said, Dzogchen Chenpo. He used 3 words. That's very interesting. Very profound teachings, really. And I thought the pa means what? It's one's own awareness. Pa, rukpa, rukpa. Where that? Who understands that? Where is that actually for each individualist? Where is this whole phenomena of the samsara? Where is all phenomena of the nirvana? Or where is the phenomena of all that path? Where is that? It's all within the rupa. Who's going to proceed? Who's going to experience? Who's going to follow? Who is going to be activating that? No other than the rupa. Then how that rupa is? In the Dzogchen teaching, it is already enlightened. And of course, I explain it in the later too. Already enlightened. What that means? What in the Mahayana teaching, always the enlightenment is 3 kayas. So rupa is already in 3 kaya status. And that is the order nature, the 3 kayas or 3 wisdom status. And the wisdom of the emptiness, wisdom of the clarities, wisdom of the displays. Even we divide, or even the teaching divided those 3 different ways, there's not 3 separated entities, 3 different things. All is within. These 3 kayas or 3 wisdoms is not just something newly developed, newly arised. It is already inherited, already is here. Here. So when we practice the Dzogchen, what we are doing, essence is already here, but we are purifying the cover-ups of this rupa. The word covered, or is blocked, that is dualities. And also in the teaching called obscurations, defilements. Those are, we are purifying. What process we are going to purify? Those are then 2 merits. 2 merits. Accumulation merit, wisdom merits. And with the very practical, we have to be practicals. We have to diligence. Why we have to diligence? Because our habitual pattern is completely take over us, our mind streams, in a way. Really take over completely. When, a long time ago, according to the teaching, from the beginner's times, it really take over that. And not just only that, take over and that's it. But it added so many habitual patterns because of our consumptions. Added. So now we are completely, according to the teaching, we are saturated within the habitual patterns. We are completely saturated. Even the powerful teaching of the Dzogchen, we need effort, joyful effort, and courage, and commitment, devotion, and bodhicattas. Those all needed to keep up, to clear and liberate, transform whatever technique you use. We have to keep up that. So that's what really is. That is what the Dzogpa, Dzog and the Pa, to separate ways of explain. Then Great Master first said, Khenpo means what? Khenpo is a Tibetan word, again, means great. Great. He said, because when you have the realization of the Rupa, there's nothing higher realization than that. There's nothing higher realization. When you discovered your own authentic Rupa or the original awareness, there's nothing else higher realization than there is. Even the Buddhas and Bodhisattva came to tell you that is not high, there's nothing really higher, more than that. This is completely the highest levels, realizations. So that is what the Dzogchen Dzogchen is, Dzogchen Chenpo. So that is like really the profound. This is the profound teachings, profoundness. Then, so that is it. And then in Tibet here, in Tibet, there is don, subdons, that profound meanings. If I go over this, profound meanings. And the profound meanings, what meanings? What means when you have this realization of the discovery of our profound Dzogchen nature, then what? There's true purpose or true benefits are completed. True benefit. According to Buddha's teaching, always in the teaching it said, fulfilling the true goals, fulfilling the true purposes. That means fulfilling the goal of one's own and fulfilling the goal of others. Why is so important in the Buddha's teaching, or particularly Mahayana teaching or the Vajrayana teaching? Because of the bodhicitta. To benefit and help to the others is bodhicitta. Once you develop the bodhicitta, whenever we develop the bodhicitta, it's not just ended when you become the Buddhahood. When you reach enlightenment, then the true beneficial activity for all living beings are started. And how that started? In a teaching said, whenever you know. In Tibet, the permanent, pervasive, spontaneously. 3 ways you're going to continue benefit for all living beings. That means when you reach enlightenment, oh, now I reach enlightenment, or become the Buddha, I don't care. That not. You are continually carrying that bodhicitta activities until every living beings are completely reach enlightenment. For those reasons, that's what called permanent. Permanent we can translate as continuation too. Continuation, pervasive, and spontaneous. That means without any effort. Buddha's enlightenment beneficial activity need no effort, not struggling, not forcing, not dragging. It's spontaneously arising as it needed in order to benefit for all living beings. So that is what. And then also it means, don't means temporarily benefit, bring joy, peace, happiness to ourselves and help to the other beings and fulfilling the goal of the bodhicitta or fulfilling the goal of 6 paramatas, actively involving that. And now, next one is, here said, effortless. Effortless is generally in the Dzogchen teaching. Dzogchen teachings are named as effortless yana. Yana of effortless. There's another synonym. Tsormi je thukpa in Tibet. Tsorme ba thukpa means thukpa or yana of no effort. That indicated that all the other yanas need effort. But Dzogchen don't need effort in the teachings. For that reason, synonym of Dzogchen is Tsormi je thukpa or effortless yanas. And that is what all yana means. Of course, you all know, but I will list the names of those yanas. Gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni gave the teachings as like staircase. Give the first step, second step, third step, fourth step. So one after another, he gave those teachings as staircase. So that means the first step is the foundation of the second steps. It's not something that is we have to neglect it or unnecessary, not necessary. All is connected. First step is, of course, first. It can't be easy to climb, to set our feet. But it's so important, third and fourth and fifth, all that steps. So all that teaching. And those teachings, those steps, that jhana teachings, what are known as those are then in it Sharakayana means is at the beginning the Buddha's teaching, such as 4 Noble Truth teachings. Those all the Sharaka teachings, and as well as known as particular Buddha teaching or yanas. Sharvakayana, Partibodhayana. I'm sure you all know that, but if you don't know, I translated that. Sharvaka means like listener, and what you listened, and you're also explaining that to the others. Yana of the listening and explaining or pronouncing that exactly what you heard. That means not changing things, not changing or not alternating, not adding our own kind of ideas and all that, trying to make kind of editing things. It's not. It's just pronouncing exactly what you heard. From who? According to Buddhism, Buddha teaching what you heard from the Buddha Shakyamuni and expounding that exactly to the others, those who are interested. So those are known as Sharvakayanas. And the Partibodhayana is the individual yana of the individual enlightened beings. That means there is certain groups, practitioners, they are very personal. They don't like to socialize too much. They like to be engaged in one's own places and just be like more hermitage style. So those are known as the individually awakened Buddha, but which is category belongs with, connected with the Sharvakayanas, the first yanas, according to saying similar. They're similar connection, even they have some some degree difference realization. Those are explainings. And after that, third one is the Bodhisattva yanas. That is Mahayana. Then you all know Bodhisattva yana. And the fourth one is then from fourth to this until ninth is the Vajrayana teachings. Vajrayana. And the Vajrayana is a diamond vehicles. Or yana is a vehicles. Or lifter, one who lifted up that. So, diamond vehicles. And that is then the Kriya-yana, Upayana, and the Yoga-yana. You all heard that, know that. And then those are three outer tantras or yanas. And three inner tantra yanas are then Mahayoga, Anuyoga, and Ati Yogas. So this now Ati Yoga is a synonym of Dzogchen and as well as I'm saying effortless yanas. Those all. And that means now all these 8 yanas had the effort. But Dzogchen has effortless. That's so. So is a synonyms. Why is also called? Because of all those 8 yanas, when it's compared to the Dzogchen, they are in a way homeopathic styles. Because conception is displaying conceptions. All conceptions are helping to the conceptions. And how? For example, in the teachings, we use the examples. For example, impermanent conception, if you got understand what means impermanent, when we got the realization of the impermanent, it will help notion of the permanent. So that means permanent is a conception, impermanent is a conception. But one is helping to take care of the other. So which is true? Both are conception. What is true? Impermanent is true according to Buddhism. Permanent is not true. It's not relevant. It's not realistic. Impermanent is truth. What the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni teaching, he said, he said truth, where things are. Buddha did not give any kind of like esoteric something that never existed. Buddha gave what things are, where things are. For that reason, Buddha is synonym of Buddha called truth speaker. Truth speakers. Speak truth. What is this? And then Buddha gave teaching, for example, one thing. Also, egolessness. Egolessness teaching, again, egolessness is a conception. But that conception helping to the ego, clinging to the ego. And which is true. Then egolessness is true. There is no egos according to Buddhism. There is no I. It didn't mean that we cannot use that terminologies. But there is no true existing as we believe. Actually, there is nothing existing that truly existing at all. So that's the way. Kind of, it's just that in the bodhicitta, for example, it's a conception related to the bodhicitta I'm talking. It's a conception. When that conception what help to what? It helps or it subdue, it disciplines self-important conception. Self-important conception. Both are conception, but which is good? Bodhicitta is good. Because self-important, that clinging to ourself, is all sorts of troubles in the samsara. And we think really carefully. In the teaching said, but not just that, in carefully. If we started thinking one's own self too much, one important, self-centered mind, is a troublemaker. Is a troublemaker in the families, troublemaker among the groups, friends, troublemaker in the neighborhood or villages, is troublemaker in the countries, troublemaker in the large. Self-centered, self-important, self-centered. So if we like to have the happiness, peace, then bodhicitta, the relative bodhicitta, open heart, relax, calm, peaceful. You bring more friends, more harmonious, more peaceful, more calm, peaceful, more friendships. If we have the really true bodhicitta, we never have to feel lonely. We have so many friends. All will become. And become also more wise. It's true. More smart, more sensible, more common sense. All those abundance of goodness will come. They are conceptions, but they are so good. Really so good. It will benefit. Benefit to me, to all the other beings. So those are, until that generally, in the teaching said, until Dzogchen is a conception by helping to the conceptions. By skillful means, by the Buddha, showed all those techniques. But every one teaching is leading to the one destinations, to the Dzogchen, to that Dzogchen way I explained as a great master, Pastor Chense, is leading. So that means all the Buddha's teaching, 84,000 teachings of Buddhas, is teaching all leading to discovering this, our origin inherited nature of the Dzogchen. Dzogchen, or our inherited great awareness. So that is the general meaning of the Dzogchen. And then the Dzogchen teaching itself, just as the great master Kiri Sangam, summarized the Dzogchen teachings into three groups. Not three groups, sorry. Kiri Sangam summarized Dzogchen, that three sections of Dzogchen teaching. Mind section of Dzogchen teaching, space section of the Dzogchen teaching, pith instruction sections of the Dzogchen teaching. Those three sections. Simde, Lungde, Mengade, and I'm sure many of you know already that also. Those three. The great master, Shri Sangha, subdivided that third section of a Mengade. And those are subdivided. How much he made? 4 sections he did. He subdivided. Order to kind of like to distillizing of the teaching, so to more kind of like essence to bring one's own self-get realizations or get directly connected to the primordial our natures. And that is. And those are what in the teaching said, outer sections, inner sections, secret sections, mostly secret sections. Mostly secret sections. In the Tibet, they called Chaykor, Nankor, Samakor, Yansin, Lana Mepakor. So the essence, supreme essence sections teaching. This supreme essence section teaching, that is what we are practicing these days. The old Dzogchen teaching, that is really what we are. So that means even the Dzogchen teaching, And all that Dzogchen teaching, the mind section, space section, with the instruction, we are boiled down to those great masters, this lineage master, through their kindness, boiled down. We are really like prepared. They prepared to us to connect to the most innermost teachings, essences. That practice, or that teaching, or that practices, is divided into two that you all know. Those are known as Kada Tukchu practices and Lundap Toggle practices. Kada Tukchu and Lundap Toggle practices. Or simple way to tell, Tukchu practices and Toga practices. And of course, many of you all know. But again, I'm just reminding to each other and just in a way to reactivating our old knowledge, teachings. And the Tukchu means cutting thoroughly or instantly cutting. Without the cutter and what to cut, what's called beyond the subject, object, and activities. If I use simple knowledge, simple language, cut that instantly. What they cut all the dualities instantly. Or, in other words, obscurations. Or, in other words, the completely clinging, grasping, cut instantly. Without cutter, that cuts, and or subject and object and activities. That is Tukchu. And the toggle practices is translated many times, leaping over instantly from samsara to the enlightenment status, instantly. So those are known toggle practices. Toggle practices. So this is Kada Tukchu and Toga practice. This again in the teaching, said, Kada Tukchu practice is effortless practices. Practice of the effortless, don't need effort practices. And the Toga practice is with this effort. Both are Dzogchen practices. What is the difference between these two? Kind of really to highlight that. The Tukchu is more focused to the emptiness aspect of the Rupa, one's own awareness. That is Tukchu practices. Toga is more highlight or focused to the clarity aspect of the nature of the Rupa. That is the difference. Otherwise, both are both status. There are no separations. Or no divisions. Both are the same. So now, Tukchu practice is many times in the teaching said the effortless practices. Why? Because once you receive the teaching, once you got the understanding of recognize our own awareness of the Rupa, then there is no need any effort. Effort is hindrance. Effort is the dualities. Effort is the fabrications. Therefore, what in the teaching said, relax. Be in that status. And without distracted. Why is it distracted? Because the distraction is the dualities. If carried by that, so then, again, we are not in the natural status. Therefore, don't be what's called mindfulness. Be aware, being aware, and relax that. Through the 4 different ways to abidings, those are teachings said. And so you relax. Then why is Dzogchen teachings, both are same, but why Toga teachings are named with the effort? Because Toga teaching, as many of you received teaching, you practice it. Those are known as always planning of the 3 postures when you do the Toga practices. three ways to gaze, three ways postations, three ways to gaze, and three ways to essentials of the object and eye and awareness and wind. Those many times to highlight, you have to focus those things. So therefore, is known as effort. You need efforts. But reality is also effortless to compare with all the others. Is instantly Dzogchen teaching is connecting to the original primordial nature. The original Rukpa, fresh Rukpa, is really connecting to that without any delays or without any kind of gap. Instantly you connect to the original nature. For that reason, Dzogchen is known as then the yana of the yana of the result, or yana of the wisdoms. For those reasons, thinking only on that, thinking on that, great master Sajapendra in the teaching said, and how Dzogchen can be yana? Because it is wisdoms. How can be yana? Because yana is a Sanskrit word which means lifter, one who's lifting up, or many times translated as vehicle, from one place to the other place, lifting up. But Dzogchen is already in that wisdom state. Why is it known as yana? That is it. That was it. Because of this instantly connecting to these primordial wisdoms without any pause or stopping. That is what really is called effortless meditation. And then there's an essential point. So come. And this is then next one is essential point of the effortless profound meditation. Meditation, and then translated here. This maybe didn't translate exactly. Namjur means what's called. Namjur means yogi. Yogi, or Namjur means also what actually means yogi. I think many of you know yoga. Yogi is practitioners. And yoga means what actually? Yoga means being in a nature, or be in a nature. As nature is. I think that's it. In the Tibetan translated, Nalmjol. Nalmjol means one is the kind of mastering or capturing the way that nature is. That is really the yogi. Also yoga. And yogi means one who is doing that. So this means one could practicing without effort and discovering our ultimate goal of the Rukpa, as it is our ultimate nature of the Rukpa. It is the essential to reach enlightenment within this lifetime and to purify all the habit patterns and obscurations. That is essential. There is nothing more essential than that in this sense. That. Why this is essential? Because whatever we developed with our Rukpa, we are going to continue to enjoy until we reach enlightenment, or for all the time. It's not something that we're going to leave behind or going to change. It is really the essential. Essential of our this lifetime, essential of in the Bardo, and essential in the next lifetime. Is all the time is excellent, essential. So that is what this teaching going to explain of this teaching, that. So that is really my meaning of this, the title. And now we go to the homage. And now as we divided in the according to Tibetan, and what's called this name. The teaching is divided into the title, teaching, and then colophons. So that we went briefly about the colophons. Now we go to teaching. Teaching is also many times divided many different sections, many kind of subdivisions. But this time we go to like kind of two. And so that is the first, the homage, and then second is the teaching itself. We go to it. And then, so that's what it is. The now homage is here. The great Master Mipham Rinpoche said, homage to Guru Pema Sambhava. So that's it. So that's it. I think you all know, we all know. I think so I don't have to use so many my broken languages to explain. So that's it. Homage to Guru Pema Sambhava. By who? That we all the practitioners, everyone who is reading these books, who have participated, and then of course, Guru Pema Sambhava is the object of refuge all the time, by all means, by everyone. So therefore, really we pay homage. So now I go over this. Again, we all know Guru Pema Sambhava. Guru Pema Sambhava is the Buddha of the generations. Guru Pema Sambhava is totally enlightened beings, both at relative level and absolute levels. And what great Master Jamgon Mipham said in one of his Dharma teachings, he said, you who hold all the activity of all the Buddhas of 3 times, and you performed all the activities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of all the times. And you also ruled all the pure land of 3 kayas. Pure land of Dharmakaya, and pure land of the Sambhavakaya, and pure land of Narmakaya. You ruled all that. Who is that? That is Guru Pema Sambhava. So therefore, you are the Lord of all the families of the Buddhas. For to that I prostrated. Really. This is what it is. Guru Pema Sambhava is not just one single object, one single Lama. Guru Pema Sambhava is the regent of all the Buddhas and all the enlightenment beings of the past, and as well as in the futures, and as well as the nows. So Buddhas of the Bodhisattvas, all the Vidyadharas, enlightened beings of the past, present, and future, representative of that. And a protector of all the beings, every living beings. According to Guru Pema Sambhava's teaching, in a life story they're reading by Yishin Soja, in the liberation of Guru Pema Sambhava, every 6 realms, there is so many emanations of Guru Pema Sambhava helping and supporting us. Guru Pema Sambhava is beyond the death and the birth, totally enlightened beings. Guru Pema Sambhava came in the form, Amitabha form of in the human, or in a way, in this world to protect and help to all the beings, and particularly degeneration times. And Guru Pema Sambhava is a reincarnation of the Buddha Shakyamunis. Also, that was Buddha Shakyamunis said in the sutras, and Ananda, and as well as all the disciples, you should not get upset that I'm entering Mahaparinirvana. But I will be back at years, known as Guru Pema Sambhava, even better than me, he said. There's nothing is better than Buddha Shakyamuni. But Buddha Shakyamuni like to highlight of his reincarnation or manifestations. Many cases also said, because what does that mean? Guru Pema Sambhava, where he appeared in this world as instantly birth, miraculous birth in the middle of a lotus as 8-year boys. And also then Guru Pema Sambhava is beyond the death, because transcendental Western rainbow body. Therefore, in the Buddha also mentioned high, because the Buddha was born, and Buddha was in a way left, even though there is no really leavings, but Buddha left. But Guru Pema Sambhava is beyond. And then Guru Pema Sambhava is great Buddhas of all the Vajrayana practitioners. Buddha of all the times. In the Tibet, all the different schools, we have Buddhist schools, but those great masters, most of those great masters, we read the books of their books, always mention him. They receive the blessings of Guru Pema Sambhava either in the dream or in a vision or in the direct perceptions. Really, all that. It's not just I'm making up this. You can read life stories with this. It's not just a kind of selected, occupied by the Nyuma practitioners. It's Buddha for everyone. And then Guru Pema Sambhava is the Buddha of these generations. Right now. All the different troubles, difficulties arise according to the teaching, and according to great masters, really now. And in the teaching say that among all the male Buddhas, Guru Pema Sambhava is swept in the Buddha of the degeneration. Among all the female Buddhas, Tara is the most powerful and swept and Buddha of the degeneration times. So that's what this Guru Pema Sambhava is. So therefore, because I know the value of the importance of this by great Master Mipham Rinpoche, of how it is, then he paying homage. Lama Pema Yunela Samsara. So that is just one way to understand. And now the second way, kind of explaining, if I go word by word with this. Again in Tibet, it said, Lama Pema Yunela Samsara. That means if we translated this, homage to, it's already translated, homage to Guru Pema Sambhava. So Guru is, in Tibet translated, or in the Tibet word is called Lama. And then Pema Yune is the Pema Sambhava, and homage is then to Sangchalo. So that is exactly translated here. So, what Lama means in the Tibet world, and of course you all know, Lama is from Sanskrit word. Lama is Sanskrit word. Guru is translated as Lama, and always in the teaching it said it has two meanings: higher one and big qualities, or heavy, dense and higher. And higher means what? In briefly, we say higher means one who's highly realization beings, higher than one's own self. What sense higher? More knowledge, more understanding of the teachings, more loving kindness, more compassion, more maybe practices, more experience. Those sense is higher than myself. And then what is this? Again, density means density of this is the metaphor, of course. Density of the realizations and qualities are dense. What qualities? Qualities of knowledge. Quality of knowledges. What qualities? In Buddhism, always teaching said, Longke Chu, Tokwe Chu. Quality of all the knowledge of all the scriptures of Buddha teaching, and a realization of that teachings. Teaching what explaining. What did those explaining? The old Buddha teaching. That all know summarize is the three extraordinary trainings. Extraordinary practice of the morality, extraordinary practice of the concentration, extraordinary practice of the wisdoms. So that realization, three extraordinary realizations that individual has. But in Guru Pema Sambhava is way beyond. He's total enlightened beings. So he's full wisdoms, full realizations. Generally talking about lamas. Lama means also, if we translated that into English, Guru means teacher. In the teaching in Buddhism, of course, teacher is so important. Teacher is so important in the sense that when you have without the teacher, there is no realization will come. Even in the Buddha teaching said, all the Buddhas of 1,000 Buddhas are always contrary with the Buddhas, teachers. Or 1,000 Buddhas who are going to come, some came, some going to, more but they were going to come, but they all had teachers. Without a teacher, there is no Buddhas. That. This is true, everything, all really important. Teachers are so important. Those teachings, then, as we can go maybe later over those things, but in a Vajrayana teaching, particularly in Goenka Tantra teaching, say there is 6 different teachers. 6 different teachers. I will list those, and many of you already know that. So those 6 different teachers. First is general teachers. Second is then Dharma teachers. Third is then one who give the empowerment and the transmissions. And the fourth is one who give the also what's called this name, or support and the guiding of our continued practice, samayas. And the fourth, fifth is one who's explaining the teachings, sutra and the tantras. And then sixth one is who gave the instructions. This is, of course, there's 6 different categories they made, but it's categories. But that could be even one teacher performing all those, or few teachers doing all that things. So those are the categories of the teachers, the Lama or the gurus. That. Then even those are the categories, but they need qualifications, qualities. Those qualities are explained by the Buddha teachings. Buddha teachings in a sutra, or in a Theravada or in Vinaya teaching, and as well as Bodhisattva yanas, and as well as Vajrayana teachings. So those all need qualifications. Once you have this qualification, great masters, then really is according to teaching, that is then, if you are truly seeker of the spiritual or looking to the practitioner, that is just truly rewarding to our practices. Then that's so important. And it's so good, and we can go over those things later tomorrow. Thank you very much, everyone, again, for your participation. Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you. I stop it. Thank you. We do few minute meditation, and then we dedicate a short dedication. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, again.